We really got to speed up. We only have a couple more minutes. We want to get as many questions, so try to get through a couple questions here, please.
Hi, my name is Julie, and I was just wondering, how do we stop voting over and over again for issues such as Prop 8, and where do you stand on that issue?
On Prop 8?
Why are we voting over and over again? It keeps coming up on the ballot. There are people that keep trying to put it on the ballot. We shouldn't have to keep voting over and over again on that. Where do I stand on that? I support traditional marriage. Marriage is between a man and a woman. That's a sacred bond that has been with us since time began. You know, a man and a woman do not make the same commitment, even though they like to tell you that. Men and women are emotionally different. Men and women are physically different. When they enter into that marriage bond, that is something that is a true commitment that each of them is making to someone of the opposite sex. So I think we need to keep the definition of marriage the way it is.
California is a conservative state. The politicians are not.
That's true.
We have voted for the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman, not once, but twice, and we will preserve it forever.
This is going to wrap up the last question. We got to move on to the part of, we're going to have the presentation, so this is the last question for the forum.
Let me start by thanking you for making it down here. I'm actually with Independence Caucus. My question for you and for any of the other gubernatorial candidates, let me preface this first. We see these attack ads already starting, and I want to know, unfortunately we can't ask Ms. Whitman or Mr. Poisner, but I would like to know how you guys are going to handle the legislature. We all know the problems that our state has. The problem that our state has is dealing with the legislation. And who's actually running the show? It's the unions, and it's going to be up to the new governor to rein that in. And I would like a semi-detailed, informative answer on how you're planning to do that.
Okay. I've been in the radio business as an executive for nearly 30 years. In that environment, I have been sent to market after market, and I have been a unifier of different corporate cultures. The last market I was in was I was in San Francisco, but I was in New Orleans, 3 different corporate cultures, and I'm going to tell you, they don't like to work down there, they like to party. But you have to merge those cultures. I came from a very fiscally conservative organization, and we were able to merge those cultures, those 3 cultures, into one, and become the market leader within 18 months. The key is we need to sit down with those legislators, and we need to tell them this. If you don't get on the bandwagon with the people of this state, then in 2 years, I will make sure that you don't have a job anymore. I will make that commitment to you that I will get out, I will campaign for every conservative candidate who represents our values. Because when we elect people who do not represent our values, we espouse to their values, and we are getting trampled on. As it's been shown in Virginia, in New Jersey, and Massachusetts, we are now on a roll, and the people are not going to take it anymore. Not only in this election will people turn over, but I will make sure they turn over in 2012 and 2014.
The first thing I will do is use my campaign to campaign, obviously, for conservative candidates to get elected to the legislature. So we have a legislature that is a bit more friendly. If we are able to do that, and I believe we are, with all the people that are motivated here, the other people on the other side are going to realize that they're not going to be there for long. So they'll be more amenable to work with us. I'll also oppose any type of legislation that is based on a scientific hoax or a scientific fraud. And I will use the line item veto to make sure none of that ever gets passed. And I agree with you, you have a legislature that's trying to engage in tricks. For instance, this water bond, this $11 billion water bond that we have. They say that our water systems are crumbling. the government turned the water off. It wasn't the water systems crumbling, it was the government that turned the water off in this case. And in that water bond, they're actually going to try and dismantle hydroelectric dams in the Northwest. They're trying to reduce our electric supplies too. So we have to stand up to the legislature and the duplicity and deception that is being pushed through and try and govern with common sense.
We're going to take one more question, actually. So this is a very good one. We'll give you one more question.
Hi, my name is Margaret Decker, and I want to know, how are you going to reduce government?
Well, as I said before, the governor, under the California Constitution, has the authority to reorganize government up there. So reorganizations, which happen in the business world all the time, whenever you have a reduction in revenues or a reduction in sales in the business world, which I have been part of for 20 or 30 years, you make cuts. So that's one of the first things you do, is you make cuts. Cuts in the California Air Resources Board, for instance, for people who are sitting around there and just thinking of new ways to tax us. You know, I don't think they need to have that job anymore. So that's how I will do it. I'll use the California Constitution.
Well, when we eliminate the state income tax, the franchise tax board better get their resume ready. But we will also make sure that if the Board of Regents aren't going to be focused on passion for excellence in education, they better get their resume ready too. We're going to look at the Department of Education. If they're not working with a passion for excellence, until we can get it decentralized, they better get their resume ready. We are going to stand up to the people who are not managing their departments and their portions of the state and are mismanaging our money, and tell them they need to find a new job.